Alright, so guys, let's begin with our today's lecture. So last lecture we had discussed about default constructor, and we saw how these default constructors they work, by the way. Now we're going to study further some more concepts related to constructors, like what is constructor chaining, what do you mean by constructor chaining, and why is it called as constructor chain. Let's try to understand this quickly with a example. Now let's assume, see, when I say constructor chaining, what does it mean? So if you look at the chain, it has an interlocking system like this. Yeah, the interlocking system will be like this. Am I right? That's how the chain is formed. Yes or no? That's the flow of forming a chain, where there is an interlocking system. See, when I say constructor chaining, what happens is, whenever you call one constructor from another, it forms a chain like structure. Example, let's see this here in Eclipse. So let me launch Eclipse, and we'll try to see here how exactly this constructor chaining it happens to. So let me enable, yeah, the chat for all the other students. Let's click on launch. Okay, so now what I'll do is, I will place here one constructor. Okay, we'll place here one constructor. I will add another constructor here, which is int x. And now what I'm going to do is, let me just arrange this. You need not do that, but however, I'm arranging it so that you can understand things slightly in an easy way. Okay, so now line number 12, see, there is already a breakpoint. Can you see that here? Now this line number 12 will call this one. Okay, now what I'll do is, from this constructor I want to call this one. How do I do that now? So what I will do is, now I have a concept in Java called as this keyword. Okay, you will just write this with a parenthesis. Now what happens is, when I now call from line 12, I'm going to call line 9, and in line 9 I'm supplying the value 100. The line 9 will call line 5. So question is, how are we calling the constructor at line 5? We are calling the constructor at line 5 from line 9 using this keyword. Now when I do this, what happens? Let's try to understand that here. Okay, firstly on MS Paint, then we will debug and see the same. So let me go back here. Let me go back here. Let's paste this in here. See what is going to happen, guys. From line 12, I'm calling this. Do you agree with that? And from here, I'm again calling this. See the flow. The flow is like this now. We're calling from here this, and from here we are calling this. Then you will print the value of x. What is x going to print? 100. Now the closing bracket, again you will go back. Stop at next line. Yeah. Then again closing bracket. Stop at next line. And the program stops. So if you look at the whole flow carefully, the flow is like this. Yeah, correct. Then after that, from here again it comes here and it flows. So it forms a chain like structure. If you carefully observe the flow, it is forming a chain like structure. So it reaches here, then from here it again goes back here, then from here again it comes back to the closing bracket, goes back, then again closing bracket goes back, and then the closing bracket of main, and the program what? Stops. If you notice the flow is like this, right? The flow is going chain like structure. Now when this flow actually happens to get created when you're calling one constructor from another. Let's see this here in debug mode. Let's see this here in the debug mode. That will give you more clear idea now. So breakpoint is here. Let's click on debug icon. Fine. Now once we click on the debug icon, observe now. Observe now. We are at which line? 12. From line 12 now, step into. Which line is it calling? Line 8 stops at this keyword. What is this keyword calling? From line 9, what is this keyword calling? Another constructor. I did not create an object to call. How am I calling that particular constructor? Using this keyword. Got it now? Now this keyword that you see here, now, understand what is going to happen. Step over, it prints 100, closing bracket. Where is it going back? To line 9 and stops at 10. Now from line 10, which line will you go to? Line 12 and stops at 13. Line 13 is closing bracket of main program stop. So analyze the flow. Is it a chain like structure? When is this chain like structure getting created? When one constructor is being called from another constructor. Observe once again. Observe once again. Okay, you will repeat this flow now. Can you tell me from line 12 which line are we calling? From line 12 which line number is it calling? 8 and stops at 9. Line 9 is calling which line? 5 and stops at, right, it stops at, right, 7. Are you understanding, everyone? Yes, everybody got this part? See, from line 12 we are calling line number 8 stops at 9. From line 9 we are calling 5. So that value 100 is given here. Can you see that now? This keyword has supplied the value 100. Keep the cursor. Now prints 100, closing bracket, which line will it go to? 9 and stops at 10. Now line number 10 will go to 12, stores the object's address and stops at line 13. Line 13 is closing bracket of main program stops. Did you understand this now, everyone? So is it forming a chain like structure? Yes. What is constructor chaining? When you call one constructor from another constructor, a chain like structure in your program flow gets created, which is called as constructor chaining. Can you please analyze this program? And if students are clear, online students, if you're clear, can we create two default constructor? No, you cannot. Okay, I will talk about that next in constructor overloading concept. Got it? First, let's look into this. Then we'll talk about constructor overloading. If the flow is clear, then I will proceed further. Online students, offline students, you have to be interactive. Only then I'll get to know what's happening. Okay? If you just sit idle without talking to me, nothing I will know what's going on. If you have doubts also, then you're keeping it with yourself. Yes. We'll see that next. We'll now create three constructors and we'll see what happens. Let's do that. Now let's do one thing. We'll create three constructors. See, now I'll create int x, comma, int y. Is this clear? Now what I'll do, I'll use another this keyword here. And then I will supply here 200, comma, 300. And now let us print here syso x. And then let's print here syso y. Let's debug and see this now. Yes. What is the flow? You will tell me. I'll click on the debug icon. Now firstly, line number 16 will call which line? 12 and stops at, did that happen? Is this first step clear? Now see the flow. Just draw that arrow mark in your mind. Now the arrow goes to line 13. Right? Now from line 13, which line are we calling? 9. Is it calling 9? And stops at See that? One step up. Now from line 10 we are calling which line? 4. Can you see that? Okay. So one flow got created. 16 to 13, 13 to 4. Look at the flow how it is going on. Now from here what is it printing now? 200. Then the next output is what? 300. Closing bracket. Which line will it go to? 10 and stops at 11. Very good. Line number 11 will go to which line? 13 and stops at 14. Line number 14 will go to which line? 16 because it has to copy the object's address, and then 17 stop the program. Did you understand now? When you call one constructor from another constructor using this keyword, then it will form a chain like structure in your program flow called as constructor chaining. Did you understand now? Everybody got this point? Any doubts, questions, queries, do you have it? Please tell me. Any doubts, questions, queries, do you have it? Please tell me. Shall I proceed further? Okay. Now when you're using this keyword, there are certain limitations, guys. You cannot use this keyword, okay, apart from making it as a first statement. Whenever this keyword we are using it in constructor at line 12, that is the only statement. So there is no problem. If you notice, constructor 12, only this keyword is there. Constructor at line number, what is that? Line number 9. That is only this keyword. So I'm using only this keyword. But when you're using this keyword to call a constructor, it has to always be a first statement. Observe here. What I'll do now, I will go here and I will make this a second statement. What do you see here? You cannot make this keyword a second statement while calling a constructor. So let me make this as a first statement now. Is the error gone? Is the error gone? Let's make this as a second statement. That is, it is not a first statement. It is not a first statement. What do you see? You see an error. Let me change this back. Let me make this keyword first statement. Is the error gone? Let me make this keyword as first statement. Is the error gone? Huh? Yes, everyone, are you clear with this? Everyone clear with this? Did you understand this point? What is the point I said? Tell me. What is that I mentioned? Tell me. What I said? Tell me. This keyword can only be first statement. It cannot be second statement. Now, let's try to understand the flow firstly. We'll understand the flow because that will give you more clarity now that how the program flow is happening, what's going on. It's a big concept. This keyword is a big concept. I cannot cover that in one class. Fine. It's a lengthy concept. We've just started. Observe now. So we are going to now click on debug. Now when you click on debug, observe where the program stops, where the program should stop. Save the program firstly and now click on debug. Where does the program stop? At which line? Huh? Line number? Let's stop and then start the debug. Huh. 19. Stops at line 19. There is a debug icon here. Now from line 19, which line will it call? Huh? 13. And after 13, which line it's going to? So line 15 will call which line? Which means it's not printing 1. Even before printing 1, from here it is going to which line? 9. And then stops at 10. So it's not printing X. Instead of printing X now from this line, which line is it going to? Very good. And then first output I got. What is that? Second output I got. What is that? Ha. Closing bracket will go to which line number? 10 and stops at 11. Make sense? Now 11 output 100. Did you understand now? Closing bracket will go to which line? 15. Stops at 16. Now what will it print? 1. Closing bracket will go to which line? 19. Store the object's address. And closing bracket of main program. Again, let's see. People, you will now tell me. Okay. From line 19, which line will it call? 13. And stops at Line 15 will call which line number? Any output did you see so far? No output. So it is calling line 9 stopping at 10. Line 10 is calling what? 4. Now the first output. Second output. Closing bracket. Which line will it go to? 10. And then it will stop at? Very good. So line 11 is printing what? 100. Then from where it got 100? 15. So which line number will it go to now? 15. Okay. It went to line number what? 15 and stops at 16. Line number 16 is printing closing bracket. Which line will it go to? 19. Line number 19, object address stored. 20 is bracket of main program. Any programming language, why we find it tough? Because we don't understand the flow of program. Right? That is why we tell every programming languages it is tough. When you start understanding how the flow of program is, see, this is what is going to happen internally in any programs. The flow is clear, the program understanding will become slightly better and better in terms of understanding. Is this clear? How important debugging is? Yes. Now we will do debugging on bigger, larger amount of code that we write later. But so this keyword calls constructor. So we can call constructor without object. Now yes, you can call a constructor without object, but first constructor you have to call with object. Without object creation, constructor will not be called, and without constructor this keyword will not work. What I meant is, when you are using this keyword with parenthesis, you have to use that within a constructor only. You cannot use that outside constructor. Suppose I use it here inside a method, what do you see? So if you are using this keyword to call a constructor, this keyword should be written in another constructor only. I cannot use this keyword to call a constructor from a method. Did you understand this point? Yes. So Deepak, when you are calling a constructor using this keyword, it has to be in one constructor. But that constructor, how will you call? Which means without object creation, this keyword makes no sense. This keyword comes in picture when at least one object is created. At least one object creation has to be there. Then that constructor can have this keyword. You cannot write this keyword wherever you want. It has to be present inside what? A constructor only. You cannot use this keyword wherever you want. Is this clear? Everybody? Everyone clear with this part? Any questions, queries do you have? Please tell. No. So let's proceed further now. Now, what is the next thing, guys, we are going to do now? As we have understood some examples here on this keyword and what is constructor chaining, I'll take you through notes in a while. Let's not hurry. So this keyword has to be first statement. This keyword you cannot use to call a constructor from a method. When you're using this keyword to call a constructor, a chain like flow gets created called as constructor chaining. Correct? This is all we have understood. You can also, do something like this. Okay. Now this time I will supply 100 and then I will write here now. I will write here a int x and let's use here this keyword. Let's use here this keyword and we are going to here print syso 1. Now can you expect the flow? Terminate. Okay, let's start the program in debug mode again. Yeah, can you see that now? Line number 11 will call which line now? Very good. Line number? Somebody is telling 4. Is it 100 going to be supplied to 4? There is no variable only to store value. This 100 get copied to what? You're not matching that at all. Yes or no? Which line number is it calling? Very good. Then line number 8 is now matching to what? See? 0 arguments. Matching to what? 4. See? Line number 4 we are here. Now first output 1. Line 6 will go to which line? 8 and stops at? Very good. Line 9 will go to 11. Store objects address. Line 12. Closing bracket of main. Program stops. Is this part clear? Did you understand this now? What is the first usage of this keyword? Calling of constructor. Calling of constructor. Is this clear, everyone, now? Now let us proceed further. One important note I want to give you. Now see, whenever you're creating an object with argument, default constructors are not applicable here. Okay? Default constructors are applicable only for objects without argument. See, error is gone. Moment I supply argument, constructor creation has to be done by developer. And if you don't do that, error will not be gone. Observe. Default constructors are applicable only when object without arguments are created and not for objects with argument. Did you understand now? Last lecture we talked about default constructor. Did we talk about that or not? Yes, we discussed about it. What is default constructor? Default constructors are applicable only for objects that are created without values. That are objects created without any values. Are you understanding now? If you do not basically keep a constructor for object created with value, you will end up seeing here an error. Is this part clear? All of you? Yes. Proceed further now. Observe. When an object with value and object without value is created, then default constructors are not applicable here also. When an object with value and without value are created together, then default constructors are not applicable. If you don't create a constructor for this as well, when is the default constructor applicable? Only when object without value alone is created. Is it alone? Now create an object with argument and without argument, then default constructor will not happen. In such cases, you have to create a constructor. Is error gone? Did you understand this now? What did you understand? Tell me. If I just now write, I'll delete this, I'll delete this, I'll delete this and this. Will my code work? Huh? I'll delete this and this. It will work. Why it will work? Tell me. For what reason? Very good. Default constructor. Okay. Now I'll do one thing. I'll delete this. Will my code work? Huh? It will not work. Why? Because whenever an object with value and without value together are created, then there is a okay. I'll delete this and I'll delete this and I'll delete this as well. Will my code work? Huh? Why? Default constructors are applicable only for objects created with. Very good. Now we'll read some notes here now. I'm not going in the sequence. Don't worry. Whatever sequence I follow, ultimately we have to cover all the syllabus. There's nothing to do with sequence. Is this clear? But however, whatever I've covered so far, you can see this here now. Control F. Let's go to constructor. And now observe here. Observe here. So what happens is now we are looking at default constructor. Can you read these points? I'll just minimize this one. Default constructors are applicable when object are not applicable when object with. Make sense? Next, default constructors are not applicable when object with and without values are created together. If you're creating these value, both the objects with and without value together, will not. Can tell me why an error? Why an error? Because with value, default constructor not applicable. Can you tell me why error? An object with and without value, when you create, then what? Default constructor is not applicable. Did you understand this now? Everyone clear with this part? Okay. Can you tell me what is the output of this program? No output. Why? So is it a constructor or method? Huh? Method. Very good. Now, observe. In this program, we are telling variable name, method name, and class name can be same. But you should not do that. Very bad practice. I'm creating a variable int a. I'm creating a method a. I'm creating an object a dot a, which will print, and a1 dot a will print. But this is a very bad practice. You should never create any content of your class where the names given are meaningless. You should never give the variable names as x, y, z. They're meaningless. Whenever you give the names based on what are you planning to do there. If my variable holds a pin code, my variable name will be pin code. If my variable holds city, then I'm going to give the variable name as city. You cannot give it as x. For now, I'm doing that. Okay. Later, we will not do that. We'll give meaningful names to our class variables and methods. Okay. Now, after that, I have just talked about, okay, directly I have explained now, okay, I've explained now this keyword. This syntax is used to call a constructor. Are you understanding now? Rest of the things I will cover. Using this keyword, we can call a constructor. Okay, how? Look at that. What is the output of this program? Look at the flow. Analyze the flow in your mind. Analyze the flow in your mind slowly. Let's not be in hurry. Make sense? Okay. Did you understand the flow? Are you able to analyze the flow now? Okay, very good. Now, while calling a constructor using this keyword, ensure calling is done from another constructor only. Does this make sense? Very good. Okay. Next. This program we have already covered. Yes or no? Huh. While calling a constructor using this keyword, ensure it is always the. Did you understand now? Yes. Why error? Very good. Second statement. Okay. Now we will continue further. So we have just talked about one of the usage of this keyword. What is that usage of this keyword? This keyword is used only in constructor concept. We'll see that further now. Now there is another usage of this keyword. One, we are writing this with parenthesis. If you're using the syntax, then used to call constructor. Understand the syntax. If I'm using parenthesis, then you're calling a constructor. But suppose I remove parenthesis, then what does this mean? What is the meaning of it then? Okay, we will understand that now clearly. So there is another usage of this keyword. What is that? This keyword. The first usage is this keyword, okay, holds object's address. Holds object address. Now what do you mean by that? Okay. So when I now create a1 is equal to new a, can you tell me what will happen at this line? Object is created. Object's address is present in a1, and you notice here this keyword, this keyword is going to now hold the same object's address. Automatically when this keyword gets created internally, when an object is created, this keyword gets created. Now this object's address, I'm telling that it is going to be present in two places. One, the address will be present in A1. The same object's address will be present in Let's see this here with an example now. So what I'll do now, I will write here a1 is equal to new a. Will default constructor get created? Yes, so I'm not creating a constructor now. Public void and test. Static or non-static method? Non-static. What am I writing in this? Is there a parenthesis used? No, it is without parenthesis. If I use parenthesis, then error, because you cannot use it like this inside a method. This statement then has to go to constructor. Remove. Error gone. Got it? Now let me here also. Let me here now print a1 dot test, and I will print a1. Let's debug. Let's debug. Save the program. Put a breakpoint here. Debug. Debug. Best way to understand at which line I am. 6. So what it will do? It will call a default constructor. Object creation will happen. Address will get stored in A1. Correct, no? Now step over. Now what is that it's printing? This printed address of A1. Now line number 8 will call which line? 10 and stops at 11. After line 11, which line will you go to? 12. See the address, is it same? A1 address and this keyword address is same. So is it this keyword holding object's address? First statement clear. Now closing bracket line 12. Which line will it go to? It will go to line 8 and stop at 9. That's closing bracket of what? Main. So whole program execution will. Did you understand now? Everyone? Any complex program you can now understand if you have skills of debugging. Okay? And debugging is never used in our BTM layout. I don't know about other layout, but BTM layout I can tell it is never used. Right? So that usage, start doing it from the very beginning. Okay? Everybody got this part? First statement is clear. If yes, let's read this here. So just press Ctrl F, type this keyword. Now we are going back to our notes here somewhere, this keyword. I've covered the first line. Can you see that? This is the program I covered. Correct? Now, second thing. Let's say in this object now I have a non-static variable. Now this variable will get loaded. This variable will get loaded only after constructor is called. What happens is when you create an object, constructor is called. When constructor calling is done, your object is loaded with non-static members. That is the significance of constructor calling. That's how they've designed it. When the constructor is called, object gets initialized, meaning non-static members are loaded to the object. Now, how do I access this variable x? There are two ways I can access that. The first one, I can use a1 to locate the object, dot, enter the object and give me variable x in that. And same way here, we are going to write this keyword to locate the object, dot, enter the object and give me variable x in that. Is this clear now? Let's try doing that here practically. Let's try doing that here practically. I will now create one non-static variable. Is the position clear? Yes, position clear. Now let's write a1.x. Then let's type this.x. This.x. We have a breakpoint here. Let's run in debug mode. Let's see. We have an object. Now step over. Right? But let me stop this. I'll again debug. Now see, there is a default constructor. Step into. It calls default constructor. Then see which line is it going to. It called a default constructor. Then it is picking up this variable, putting that into object, then going back to right your class line number 6 and storing object's address. So constructor is called, non-static member loaded, the variable loaded into object, and object's address is given to a1. Did you understand now? This is called as object initialization. Okay, what is it called as? Very good. From line 6, which line will it go to? 7. What is 7 printing? Because object got initialized with value 100. Now which line will it call? 10. Stops at 11. What is it 11 printing? Closing bracket. Line number 8. Closing bracket of main. Program stops. Are you all clear? Online students, please clarify. Are you all clear? Clear with this part? Please tell me. Offline students, any doubts do you have here? Any doubts, questions, do you have it here? Please tell me. No? Okay. Now, we have just covered the next part. That is, using this keyword, we can access non-static members of the class. Can you see this example? Analyze. Try to create a flow in your mind. Try to create the program flow in your mind. Shall I continue? Did you understand the program? Able to create the flow now? Okay, good. Can you now we'll create a flow for this. Okay, using this keyword, let's call a method. So if we try using a1 inside test method, it will, I'll come to that, it will not work because it's local variable. Where is a1 created? Main. So if a1 is created inside main, it is local to main. No, can I use a1 outside main? What will happen then? I'll give you error. That will give you error. Did you understand that, Prasad? Right? If I now use this A1 here, it has to give error. Where have you created A1? So this is a local to main. Now if you want to use A1 everywhere, what you will do then? Then you go out and create it outside like this. Are you understanding? But make this. Did you understand now? Static has global access. Is it working everywhere now? Did you understand? Yeah? Do you want to practice this much? I feel today we should practice this much, or should I continue? Practice? Okay. See, we are going at good speed. Class number 7 already near about 1000 lines of notes is touched. Okay, 1000 lines of notes is already touched with class number 7. But practicing is what you have to be serious about. Okay, practicing it what you have to be serious about. Is this clear? So we'll stop here. See you again the next class tomorrow. Tomorrow I will teach you things in more detailed manner about this keyword, and from there we will